Not the prettiest album cover in the world, but the music makes up for it.
True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the Gorillaz album, Song Machine Season 1, Strange Times. Gorillaz are a virtual band headed up by former Britpop Blur member Damon Albarn. This is the 7th studio album under his Gorillaz moniker. There was interesting promotion with this record before its entire release. EPs came out and were numbered based on episodes, almost feeding into the notion of a TV series, but also centering each one around a single that is well groomed and tightly structured. Normally, I would dislike this type of rollout and format with so many singles released before an album, but with a notable commitment to a concept and a collaboration project full of star-studded guests including Elton John and St. Vincent, it's hard to resist that, especially when the songs were pulling on a wide range of features across a multitude of genres. This review is actually a change of heart from my original thoughts because this album is definitely a slow grower, hence why I waited this long to put out a formal review on it. That being said, give these songs a try. They may overcome you, and soon enough you will notice the staying power and catchy qualities of each track. The first song that overcame me was the title track, Strange Times, featuring Robert Smith of The Cure. On this cut, we have a swirling and gothic atmosphere. Fantastic singing from Robert Smith, who sounds like he hasn't aged a bit since his prime of the 80s. Moreover, Strange Times is a Gorillaz and The Cure type song that is reborn into the modern landscape of 2020, and it shows it in its extremely topical lyrics that comment on the world's harsh political and economic standing. A nice tribute earlier in 2020 occurred on How Far with the guests of British rapper Skepta and the late Tony Allen, who pioneered Afrobeat as a genre. This track, How Far, never actually made it onto the standard edition of this album here, but nonetheless, I wanted to point out its classy inclusion on the project in general. Besides, the tune is also pretty enjoyable. Moving back to the standard edition of Strange Times, The Valley of the Pagans featuring Beck is one of the songs to give a nod to classic era Gorillaz. This song is like Feel Good Inc. Part 2, hypnotic and groovy with its bass line and infectious with its cartoonish synth chords. It's also nice to hear Beck on the right track again after he wasn't so impressive on his most recent solo project of Hyperspace. Moving along, Pac-Man featuring Schoolboy Q is an example of a hip-hop and alt-rock fusion at its finest. I absolutely adored the sinister lead-up to Schoolboy Q's verse. His flows are cold, nasty, and creative. I mean, we should acknowledge the fact that the beat takes this track to the next level, but without Schoolboy, I don't see this track nearly hitting as hard either. A stylistic detour then takes place in the middle portion of this album as many dreamy atmospheres quickly rush over the mix. Chalk Tablet Towers is rather a by-the-numbers song lyrically, wanting to get drunk and stoned, but is a rally song with catchy elements that I can't ignore. Taking on glam and luxurious deliveries, who else would you want on a track like this other than Sir Elton John? He appears on the Pink Phantom along with Atlanta's Black. Yes, a bit of a strange collaboration there. But interestingly, Elton, he has lent his talents to contemporary artists before. Whether it's hip-hop, R&B, or rock, he certainly remains a student of music, learning and embracing new styles and trends. Never in a million years could I have predicted this song happening, nor turning out this well. I do not think Black and Elton will ever belong on a song outside of the Gorillaz canon, but they definitely state their case on the Pink Phantom as to why it should maybe happen sometime sooner rather than later. With a depressing story revolving around a failed relationship, the Pink Phantom is a cornerstone collaboration on this album. Much like Aries is, featuring drummer Georgia and New Order's Peter Hook. On this pivotal cut, I appreciate the thunder seamlessly woven into the mix, as well as the jolt of the snares that play as a counterpoint to 2D's apathetic vocal performance. Subsequently, Friday the 13th featuring Octavian is another subdued moment on this record. It is bass and keys driven and has some of the most understated rap vocals I've heard in quite a while. Along with an instrumental that shifts gears and is never content with staying in one place, I admire this switch up on the project. The only time this record fails to captivate me with all its stylistic detours is on the Mike Will Made It produced Dead Butterflies. This track is stylistically mismatching, and yes, while the entire record has been a great intermediate between alt-rock, R&B, and hip-hop up until this point, I still can't help but to feel Dead Butterflies has a directionless flow and somewhat of a generic beat that becomes stale at the drop of a hat. Fortunately, Song Machine ends on a pair of fun tracks, one of which is entitled Désolé, a groove on here that makes me feel like I'm on an island. Serious island vibes on this track, which has some soulful elements too. One of the grooviest bass lines as well that I've heard in 2020. I love the dynamic that is sparked between Fatoumata Diawara on this track. Beautiful horn and string arrangements that are brought out thanks to the extended version. The only one I recommend, by the way, just lets all the energy and infectiousness of this track loose. The latter of the pair of fun tracks that ends this record is Momentary Bliss. Gotta love the bouncy instrumental as well as the animated flows from Slow Tie thrown against those punk rock guitars and lo-fi drum recordings. It's just so good. There's honestly more of a punk quality to this track than hip-hop, and Slow Tie makes it believable as a first and foremost rapper. Overall, this record is fantastic. Much like actors creating a dynamic and fun setting, Gorillaz synergize and come in clutch on an artistic vision that is only capable in part to its musical guess. Most impressively though, the collaborators never once seem to phone things in. This record also kind of plays like a return to form for Gorillaz, throwing it back to their heyday. It goes without saying, Song Machine is a massive improvement over the psych pop and electropop on the Now Now and Humans, respectively. And by the looks of it, Song Machine Season 2 could be coming out in the next year or two. So yeah, plenty of Gorillaz music to come. Be sure to keep tabs on that. But for now, I am happy to give Season 1 of Song Machine an 8 out of 10 and a very healthy recommendation. And there we go. There is the Gorillaz album review. Make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of this music. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm here to engage with you guys. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that. As always, thanks for watching and have a rockin' day.